What are you doing, buddy? All right, hold on. Go. Give us some gas. Oh, there you go. That's one way to do it. Alright guys, welcome back to another video on the Integra. Today, we're going to change out the stock exhaust manifold. But before we get started, check this out. That is ugly, isn't it? Look at that gap. Yeah, so earlier, I was pulling in the driveway and heard it crack. The bumper cracked. Didn't hit nothing. Just cracked. And I'm pretty sure it's because this bracket, there's that bracket that's behind there. Pretty sure it's bent and had a lot of pressure on it because it broke here too. But yeah, so it cracked right there. So just drift stitched it with some zip ties for now until we get a new bumper. So that's gonna hold us up on painting the car for a little while, because definitely want a fresh bumper before I paint it. But exhaust manifold. This manifold is the stock header. I don't know if you can see it. Everything is super dirty down here because it's been raining and cold. So my road is like destroyed. But anyway, you see that? That's a hole. And I'm pretty sure the gasket is blown out. And there's probably a hole somewhere further back because we got a pretty bad exhaust leak. So I'm just going to replace the manifold. Give me a second and I'll show you the manifold we're going to be replacing it with. So I don't have plans on leaving this car naturally aspirated. So I didn't feel the need to spend money on a really expensive header. Because to me, it's just wasting money. Well, I spend a whole bunch of money on a header that I'm just going to replace with a turbo manifold one day. So I've been seeing some other channels on YouTube using... I've been seeing a lot of other YouTubers using products from this company, and they're pretty inexpensive, and I figured why not? It wouldn't hurt nothing. It's, I don't need a nice, expensive $500 header when I can get one for way less, just to daily drive with, so I don't have an exhaust leak. So got an exhaust from a header from Flashark. It was actually discounted, so it was like, I think normally they're about $170. This one was $68. So we're gonna see, what it does. This isn't the they make two different ones for a B series. They make the a 4-to-1 header, like it's got a long down pipe. And if you were looking for, actual power gains, that'd probably be the one that I would go with. This one is a 4-into-2-into-1. For my application, that's gonna be the best because I know that it'll bolt up. It's gonna fit and bolt up to my stock manifold, or to my stock cat. and I'm not gonna have a whole lot of issues with fitment towards the exhaust. I'm not gonna have to go, get a test pipe fabricated to make it fit my exhaust. It should just be a quick bolt-on swap, and that's what I want right now because daily driver, just something quick. It's just to fix an exhaust leak and a cracked header, not to actually gain any performance. So if it does, that'd be a bonus, but I'm not expecting to actually pick up any mid-range power or anything like that. If anything, I might have a little bit of a deeper exhaust note, but I don't expect it to be much different than the factory manifold. But anyway, I'm gonna start hopefully trying to get these factory bolts out without breaking any of them, because I know this car's had a head gasket and it's had a valve job done, so hopefully these bolts will come out easily. But if not, we'll go from there. I have a set of extended studs, exhaust manifold studs, and I'm gonna throw them in there. Hold on. Yeah, I got a set of exhaust studs from 1320, so I'm gonna swap the factory bolts out for that. So if they break, if any of them break or don't want to come out, I should be okay. But anyway, I'm going to start by loosening these bolts before I ever lift the car in the air. I just think that would be a lot easier than starting from the bottom, because I'm not sure what kind of issues I'll run into down there. And if I run into any issues, because I have to go to work tomorrow and I have to drive this car to work tomorrow, so if I run into any issues getting it loose or getting it off, I'm just going to stop and come back to this another day, because I don't have time for anything to go wrong on it today. Alright, I got the factory manifold off. It's over here, and like I was saying, there's holes all in it and there's cracks everywhere, so it's definitely needed to be replaced. It was pretty difficult to get this off, simply because whoever put the aftermarket exhaust on it, they put two different bolts in here. Whoever had this off, whenever they did whenever the head was rebuilt, whoever they took it to, when they put the exhaust back on, they put two different size bolts, so that made it more difficult. And yeah. Alright, no, you don't have to take the tire off to change the exhaust. Where my car is sitting, I just can't lift it high enough to safely get up under it, so I took the tire off to give myself more access. Anyway, swap the O2 sensor from the old exhaust to the new one. I know that O2 sensor is good. Now I need to try to get the donut gasket off, because the Flashark header does not come with a donut gasket. It comes with a manifold gasket, and the mid adapter gasket does not come with donut gasket. Alright, so I got the up pipe, the actual manifold section of the headers on. I'm gonna attach the lower part in just a minute, But the only fitment issue that I found is right here. We're not going to be using that bracket anyway, so I'm just going to cut it off, but it fouls against the oil pan. I've seen everyone else that's used this, used headers from this company that mounting tab, even on the one piece like long tube headers, even on those, that mounting tab fouls against the oil pan. So we're gonna knock that off, and that's it. But other than that, these ports matched up really well. I had to chase the threads on this hole in my head because, like I said, whenever they did the head work on it before I bought the car, they cross-threaded that one a little bit. And some of these studs, these were 1320 studs. Now, I'm not sure, if they're actually from 1320 or not. It just says 1320 performance on there, but they came off eBay, so who knows? It could not be a real part. It could be a Chinese knockoff. But anyway, some of them just aren't as good as they should be. Anyway, it's gonna hold it on, but don't buy them off eBay, I guess. Buy them from the actual company so you know that they're real. Because the quality on those studs doesn't feel up to par with other things that I've gotten from 1320. But anyway, I'm gonna hook my grinder up and I'm gonna knock that bracket off and then reinstall it. All right, I grinded that tab off, ground it down, got rid of as much sharp angles as possible. And now I'm gonna try to fit it to the car again. All right, guys. Hold on. All right, so I got them fully installed. These headers don't fit very well. I mean, that's the only thing I can say is they don't fit very well. So I don't know what everyone else who's used them and haven't had a problem. You're gonna need like one of those adjustable test pipes. Because just running it to the factory cap, the header was a little bit too short. It's fully installed. I got it working. There's a little bit of an exhaust leak because I have some gap under there. I might be able to fix that with some longer bolts that are fully threaded, so I can tighten it on up. So I'm gonna try that, and then I'll let you guys know. I'll post an update. But as of right now, I'm not very impressed with it. It definitely isn't I mean, it fits, but the old Megan Racing headers from way back in the day, they fit perfect. I wish I could find those, but they don't make them no more. So but yeah, you definitely get what you pay for. So you pay $68 for a header. You're gonna have problems making it fit. But yeah, I definitely need one of those telescoping test pipes, and I could not run my O2 sensor. I had to take it back out because the position of the header puts the O2 sensor right on top of the half shaft. So the intermediate shaft is gonna rub all over it, and that's not a good thing to do. So, but that's it for this one. I'm probably not even gonna post this for a while. I'm probably gonna wait till I get some better bolts so I can give a more honest opinion of this, because right now I'm not impressed with it, and I just had to make it work because I have to drive this car to work tomorrow. But I wish I could have just welded up my factory cast manifold, but I can't really do that either. Alright guys, so it's been about a week, and been driving around on that on the Flashark exhaust header for about a week with the stock cat, and it just doesn't fit up to the stock cat very well. And I don't really think that it's because of the header design. I think it's probably because this car already has an aftermarket exhaust on it. I'm not sure what the brand of this exhaust is. It's probably just an eBay one. But the stock catalytic converter is still on the car, and all of that worked together decently with the factory header, which has holes all in it. But with that Flashark one, it's only like this far from being where it actually needs to be. I'm guessing that it's probably just a combination of aftermarket parts, not lining up well together. So I was waiting on this to come in. This is a 2.5 inch telescoping test pipe, so I can fit it up and then, fit it to the length that it needs to be, and then weld it up. So as you see, we got the car in the air, and that's what we're going to do today. Because right now I cannot run my O2 sensor because of the O2 sensor position on the header, and this one I'll be able to clock it so that it doesn't hit the bottom of the car, and I can put my O2 sensor back in. But that's what we're gonna do today. And as you see yesterday, I didn't film it, but yesterday I did a small rotor upgrade on the front, because my old ones were pretty beat up, and they had some micro cracking in them and stuff. So I went with a drilled and slotted setup. Pretty cheap, actually. I mean, they're no larger in diameter than the stock rotors are. They're just drilled and slotted, so it should cool down and stay a little cleaner, keep my pads a little cleaner. I am still running the EBC yellow stuff pads, and they have plenty of life left on them. They're pretty good. I love those brake pads. They're a little dusty, but they work very, very well. This is probably the best braking car that I've had, compared to that one when I used to daily drive it, and my other Integra, and the hatchback I had. I just used factory style pads on those, and these EBC brakes are well worth the money. Those brake pads are amazing. Left the rear stock. Those rotors are still in good shape. One day we might swap them out, but I just didn't see the point because it's heavily biased to the front right now anyway. But anyway, I got the car lifted up. It's kind of janky, but this is the only way I could safely support it this high because I don't have any even ground. Threw a couple sheets of plywood up under the car so I had something, to lay on. And we're just gonna get up under there and start taking off the factory converter and start measuring, seeing how well we need to fit that one up before we weld it. All right, so we hit a snag. So this is the adjustable test pipe from Jack Spania, and the flange that's supposed to bolt up to the header is way too big. You see how I marked it, how far it needs to extend. It would have been nice if he had slotted those holes out when he made it, because this flange is really thick and it is not going to be easy to get that out of there. I don't even think I can drill through that. I'm probably going to have to use a cutoff wheel and just try to cut it. Luckily, it comes with a really good donut gasket, so shouldn't have a problem with that. With it leaking, I have to cut these holes out to make it fit the header. And this is supposed to be a 2.5 inch, and I don't know, I think that's more like a 3 inch, but so this is a comparison on the stock header. Look at the difference. You're never gonna get a bolt in that. Alright, so where we're at now is I can't find my jigsaw, so I can't cut these bolt holes out on this flange. And so what I did is I went through and gutted the stock converter, and we're gonna put it back up in the car. As bad as I don't want to, because it doesn't fit great with the header and the exhaust, but we're gonna have to do what we have to do, because I'm not gonna be able to finish the test pipe today. And we're about to get some rain, but I'm gonna put that back up under the car, make it fit, take it for a rip, and see if I can give you any better understanding. I might just do a sound clip and show you guys what it sounds like. But I took the heat shielding off. I have to put the secondary O2 back in and plug it back up, but there are some broken wires on it, so it probably wasn't giving us a good reading. I still can't run the primary O2 because it hits the half shaft. So until we get this test pipe to work, we're only going to have one O2 sensor. So that's just the way it's going to be. But anyway, I'm going to get back up under the car and put that back in there, and then I'll show you, I'll do an update whenever I'm done. Alright guys, I got it all back together. I need to clarify, the reason I gutted the stock cat is because it was clogged up. That's not what I wanted to do. I don't want to run, with a gutted cat. I'd rather just run a test pipe, but see, it's about to rain. I couldn't get the test pipe to fit without without cutting that flange, and I'm just not able to cut the flange right now. So anyway, let's do a little sound test to see how obnoxious we're gonna be. Well, it is a lot louder. That's just idling, and it's definitely a lot louder, and it's a little rattly, but that's what we got right now. Alright, so inside the car, you can definitely feel the exhaust is rattling against the chassis now, because it doesn't fit very well, but it definitely is louder. I'm not really a fan of that, but it is what it is. I would rather it be quieter, but you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. Maybe it won't be too obnoxious on the road, because it definitely feels obnoxious. Alright, well, yeah, it's definitely obnoxious. Not a huge fan of it, but it's only temporary. I used to think that, you know, it being super loud like this was cool. Hold on. Well, I used to think that it being super loud like this was really cool back when I was a kid. I don't think that way anymore. I'm not I don't want it to sound loud as hell and be super ricey, but that's just the way gutted cats sound. We might look into a different exhaust, but I also don't see the point in doing that, because we're gonna go boosted one day. But just reiterate, I'm not proud of the way this exhaust sounds, but it's working. It's one of the reasons I wanted to keep the stock manifold and the stock cat. But you know, the stock manifold broke and the cat was clogged, so it is what it is until we boost this thing. Alright, that's it for this video. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Alright guys, just to close out this video, this is what it sounds like just idling, but driving, it is incredibly loud. Very obnoxious, but that's probably because I gutted the cat. But aside from some fitment issues, and there's probably a problem with the gasket, that style of gasket. I still have a small exhaust leak that I can't quite get tight enough to fix, but other than those small simple things, I guess I really can't be, you know, too upset, because I paid $65, $68 for the header. So all in all, I guess you get what you pay for. I mean, it's not too bad. If you're on an extreme budget, go ahead and get the Flashark one. Just know that it's got some issues, and it's going to be obnoxiously loud. But if you're a young kid and that's what you're into and that's what you're trying to do with your build, go ahead with it. Me personally, I would like something a little bit more tame. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it. Peace.